So little by little, we learn, instead of blaming other selves or blaming others, there's always something you can do. Sometimes we always think, why me? Do you always think bad things happen to you? Why you? And of course the answer is, why not? Life is so unfair. Is it? And this was the old story of this fellow who was in prison for something he didn't do. Imagine being put in jail for a crime you don't commit. And this poor gentleman, he was over at Carnot Prison Farm, and I used to go and see him, and he came up to me one evening, and he said, when I was visiting there, and he said, look, Ajahn Brahm, I respect you, and I'm trying to change my life, trying to be a good person, keeping my precepts. He said, I won't lie to you. He said, I won't lie. I know other prisoners will all say they're innocent, they didn't do it, but I didn't do that crime, I didn't do that robbery, I've been put in jail for something I never did. And I've got a social conscience. You can't just let that happen to a poor person, put in jail for a few years for a crime he didn't commit. And I also know that your ability to get a lawyer or just to call for help is so limited inside prison. So I thought, I know people. Maybe I can take that cause up. Maybe I can fight for his release from jail for a crime he never committed. But as I was thinking like that, this scallywag of a prisoner, he looked at me and he broke into this, almost like a few teeth missing smile. And he said, but Ajahn Brahm, it's true, I never did that crime. I never did that robbery. But he said, since listening to you and learning about the law of karma, there's so many other robberies which I got away with where I wasn't caught. I guess this is fair. So how many times do you get flashed by a speed camera and you complain, oh, why did this happen? It's really unfair. But how many times are you speeding and there's no speed camera there? Do you say, oh, this is unfair, I was speeding and I wasn't caught? Do you ever say that? So sometimes, if you look at life in a positive way, maybe it is fair sometimes. Maybe it's a balancing. Maybe it's giving you the opportunity to learn something of life. And to me, that instead of blaming, if anything happens to me, I think, wow, it's an opportunity that I can learn something and grow some more. So everything which has ever happened to me in life, when I first came here, people were asking today how long I've been here. 36 years, almost 37 years now, coming up in Perth. And I had all my plans, how my life was going to evolve. Because I was number 2 monk. I never wanted to be the head monk. The head monk was Ajahn Chakra. I saw how much work he had to do. The head monk is always the one, it's like the head car in a convoy. You're the one who takes all the bugs on the windscreen. Those who are tailgating, coming behind you, just, they don't have to work so hard and they have a much easier life. So it's much harder being out front. But the only reason, so I was having a wonderful time. Even now, somebody was asking about, if Ajahn Brahm dies, who's going to take over? They won't let me die. They're scared of taking over. Even though I was in Penang, when that Boxing Day tsunami hit, I was actually in Penang that day. Even though it was another part of the island which was safe. But a couple of people died in Penang when the tsunami hit. And my second monk at the time, if you remember him, Ajahn Chatamalo, apparently as soon as he heard I was in one of the disaster zones and the tsunami hit, he was calling everybody as much as he possibly could to try make sure I was safe. And when I found that out, I said, I didn't realise you cared about me so much. And he was honest enough. He said, well, I wasn't really caring about you, but I knew that if you died, I'd have to take over. That's what I was worried about. It's a tough job.